On News Hour tonight, Peter Obi pushes for political reset, charges Nigerians to vote responsive leaders in 2027. 96 houses razed in fresh attack on Mangu local government area of Plateau State. FCT workers delay return to work as post-Eid resumption lingers. And on the foreign scene, UN sounds alarm as Sudan war drags into third year. Hello, good evening, and welcome to News Hour on Trust TV. I am Fatima Amed Musa. And now we begin with political matters. Presidential candidate of the Labour Party in 2023 election, Peter Obi, has urged Nigerians to vote out leaders that are not sensitive to their plight at the next general elections in the country. He spoke on Tuesday on the sideline of a book launch in his honor in Abuja. The former presidential candidate is stressing that the nation can only thrive if the current order gives way to a new one that prioritizes citizens' need above political gain. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman has more.
A lot is being said about the state of the nation, and the groundswell of opinion is that something is not right. Peter Obi is not afraid to identify with the lamentations over the current governance and political trajectory in the country. The former Anambra State governor is insisting that the country is sinking and requires citizens' collective action to change the current narrative.
Go and read the Titanic. When it was sinking, some people were over there. They didn't know it was going down till everybody. Because those who are dancing now don't know that the bridge is sinking. When it comes, it will consume everybody.
Keynote speaker at the event, Professor Sam Amadi, places blame for the dysfunctions in the trajectory of growth on the ruling elites and suggests the next line of action to salvage the country.
Nigerians have a common destiny to perish or prosper. We have a common destiny to be a poor people or to be prosperous. Our diverse identities are not themselves hindrance to transcending and mobilizing a common movement. Our big leaders, those who have put us in this tragedy, have foolishly and criminally emphasized ethnic religious difference. Nigeria is a contiguous zone that poverty can radiate across board and wealth can radiate across. There should be no geopolitical resistance to creating a Nigerian movement that answers to every Nigerian.
But this is not a lone voice speaking in the wilderness. Participants at the event also share their views on the current situation in the country.
The mere fact that Nigerians are not satisfied with what we have today, and we are all agonizing about the fact that leaders have failed from the promises they made to Nigerians. I think that justifies the clamor for electoral revolution as is being put. And I think the challenge before all of us is how to make that possible.
A lecture with a theme, The Renaissance of the Obedient Movement, was used to present to the public the book titled Obi, the Political Change Agent, which chronicles events and factors that shaped the 2023 election. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
A former political advisor to President Bola Tinubu, Hakeem Baba Amed, has criticized the current administration, saying it has failed to improve the quality of life of the average Nigerian as well as the quality of governance. Speaking in an interview on Tuesday, Baba Amed, a former spokesperson for the Northern Elders Forum, stated that the removal of the petrol subsidy by the Tinubu government has significantly impacted the quality of life for average Nigerians. He said though it was unrealistic for the current president to reverse the removal of the petrol subsidy, he should tackle the wastage of resources that accrue to the state and local governments from the money saved from subsidy removal. Baba Amed said the president should take steps to increase accountability and governance across the three tiers of government. He urged the president to tackle corruption and insecurity, mitigate poverty, devote considerable time to infrastructure and social development and utilize his presidential power to ensure that money sent to governors, especially those of the All Progressive Congress APC, is used judiciously. And now the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has attributed the stability in the country to the activities of the G5 governors in the country. Wike disclosed this during a meeting with concerned stakeholders of the People's Democratic Party at his official residence in Abuja. The report.
Present at the meeting were former governors of Benue State, Samuel Otom, former governor of Abia State, Okeze Ikpeazu, National Secretary of the PDP, Sam Ayawu, serving and former lawmakers of the party, and delegates from 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory, FCT. Addressing the stakeholders, Wike highlighted the stance of G5 governors during the 2023 elections, notably the governor's refusal to support the candidacy of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, adding that the party wouldn't be where it was today if it had listened to them. Wike urged the stakeholders to show their belief in unity like the founding fathers of the party, rather than allowing selfish interest.
It is clear from the Constitution that only the National Convention, properly and duly constituted, can remove Senator Sam Ayawu, the National Secretary, arising from his status as a member of the National Executive Committee of the party. We therefore demand that the acting National Chairman and National Secretary jointly issue a notice to INEC with an attached agenda for the National Executive Committee meeting of the party, being the only pathway to abide by extant laws. We, the stakeholders, reiterate our commitment to our great party and urge all members to uphold the rule of law, respect constitutional mandate, resist all machination aimed at stabilizing the party, and support the efforts of National Reconciliation Committee headed by Excellency Senator Bukola Saraki.
Also addressed the contention over the seat of the National Secretary of the party, noting that the governor of Taraba State tendered for the governorship of the state while he held the position of state chairman of the party.
The PDP eminent stakeholders and concerned leaders resolve as follows. 1. That to finally arrest the inexorable drift towards extinction in our party, the party must, without further delay, respect the judgment of Supreme Court. We therefore unequivocally affirm Senator Sam Ayawu as duly elected as substantive National Secretary of our great party. In the spirit of fairness, inclusion, federal character principles, and respect for our party constitution, the party must make an unequivocal pronouncement zoning its presidential candidate to the south in the 2027 election.
Meanwhile, former governor of Benue State says no one has contributed to the party like Wike had, adding that the PDP had made a lot of mistakes. Habibat Ajayi, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The River State chapter of the All Progressive Congress has warned suspended Governor Fubara that only sincere reconciliation efforts can prevent his impeachment. Speaking at a press conference in Abuja on Tuesday, the chairman of the APC Caretaker Committee, Tony Okocha, stated the suspended governor has yet to initiate any meaningful steps to reconcile with the duly elected lawmakers in the state. On March 18th, President Bola Tinubu declared a state of emergency in River State due to the ongoing political deadlock between FCT Minister Nyesom Wike and Governor Siminalayi Fubara. Okocha's warning was issued amid rumors that President Tinubu may use the June 12th anniversary to reinstate Governor Fubara. Now, the number of fatalities from the explosion in Gwabro village in the Tangaza local government area of Sokoto State has increased to 8 after 2 women died in from injuries sustained from the blast. The blast occurred during Eid Kabir celebrations and was caused by a locally made improvised explosive device. Security advice to the Tangaza Council, Ghazali Raka, confirmed the update, noting that Gobro has been under bandits' control for 5 years. The explosion site, Dorawa, is near Lukrawa camp, a known bandit stronghold. Raka also mentioned previous discoveries of unexploded devices in the area that were neutralized by heat before detonation. Police spokesperson in the state, ASP Ahmed Rufai, confirmed that the IED exploded as victims traveled from Gobro to Zurmuku, detonating near a security post under a tree close to Zurmuku, another area plagued by banditry. 96 houses were razed in the Gimbas community of Langai district in Mangu local government area of Plateau State. Residents alleged that the perpetrators looted food, mattresses, cattle, and other valuables during the incident. A traditional ruler and Madugun Langai, Yakubu Umar, disclosed this to Trust TV on Tuesday in Jos, stating that apart from the 2 persons killed on Monday, 1 more body was recovered on Tuesday, bringing the death toll to 3. The community accused the Biram ethnic group of launching the attack, which they denied. The traditional ruler called on both the state and Mangu local government to investigate those behind the attack and bring them to book, urging that the state government to provide aid to those who have lost their lives and properties. Meanwhile, the leadership of Biram Youth Mothers Association, BYM, denied the allegation of launching the attack, describing it as false. Still in Plateau State, the governor, Caleb Mufwang, has cracked down on commercial motorcyclists, popularly known as Okada riders, who mask their faces while operating within Jos and Bukuru metropolis. The decision followed reports of Okada riders flooding Jos and Bukuru, masking their faces while operating in the area, describing them as dangerous. Governor Mufwang disclosed this on Monday when he received the Plateau State Muslim Ummah during Salah homage at the government house in Rayfield, Jos. According to the governor, the presence of these Okada riders masking their faces constitutes a threat to the security of lives and property in the state and must be addressed before it gets out of hand. Speaking further, during the homage, the governor appreciated the support given to him by the Muslim community, promising to ensure inclusivity in his administration. Gunmen have killed 2 truck drivers and burned down truck at Ogi Junction in Okigwe local government area of Imo State. Officials of the National Union of Road Transport Workers, NURTW, Imo State chapter told Trust TV that the incident occurred around 10:30 a.m. on Saturday. Dahiru Musa, the NURT's chairman in Okigwe, who confirmed the incident, disclosed that they have informed security officials, including the DPO of Okigwe local government, about the incident. Narrating the incident, the chairman said suspected indigenous people of Biafra IPOB members blocked the road and opened fire on them on Saturday. They burned the truck, which was fully loaded with Gari and the corpses. Jafaru gave the names of the drivers as Haruna Muhammad and Adamu Ibrahim. The Imo State Police Command is yet to issue a statement on the incident. Now, after extended holiday breaks, some workers tend to prolong their time off, sometimes extending their breaks into the weekend. Meanwhile, parks, train stations and airport terminals became busy as many begin their return journeys ahead of official work resumption. On the other hand, a number of diligent individuals resumed works promptly, fresh from the celebrations. Against this backdrop, Trust TV's Noel Sampson went around Abuja to monitor the situation and find out if workers have resumed duties after the holidays. Take a look.
The federal government declared Friday, June 6th and Monday, June 9th, 2025 as public holidays to mark this year's Eid el-Kabir celebration, resulting in a further break, including the weekend. On Tuesday, June 10th, the first working day after the holidays, we took a walk through the streets of the FCT and visited key offices, including the FCTA and the Federal Secretariat, to assess the level of resumption. To our surprise, the usual hustle and bustle was missing, as many offices remained sparsely populated, suggesting that a significant number of workers have yet to return to their duties. This prompted us to speak with residents to understand the reasons behind this lackluster attitude towards resumption and what measures can be taken to curb it.
It's not an issue, just that the edges that people are coming from, like in Maraba, there is a serious hold up. Maraba Nyanya, people are still on hold up. That is why, if you go to other edges like Apo resettlement, there is a lot of hold up there. People are still on their way coming to town.
Salary has not been paid, one. And those who travel will ensure that what they went for is concluded before they come back. That has been the way of life of Nigerians.
People have traveled and they are hoping that the work will not be serious for the rest of this week. You know, those days in the northern part of Nigeria, the week with the Salah is usually public holiday, unofficial public holiday. And so maybe most northerners, especially I know, because I serve in the north, most northerners will not come to work till next week. Then again, transportation issues, logistics issues, you know, some people travel, they're not able to come back, or some came back yesterday night, they are tired tomorrow, but of course, surely it will be better than this tomorrow.
We also visited the Jabi Central Motor Park to determine if people were indeed returning to Abuja after the break. Surprisingly, the usual bustling park also appeared unusually calm. We spoke with the park officials and drivers about this year's post-holidays travel turnouts.
People have traveled to Oodua State in the country, and now the Salah celebration have already completed, and which whereby even the Salah break, it is the northern part that people travel much. So which now every of our vehicles that travel to Kano, Sokoto, this northern side, you will see the number of passengers are even on ground to come back. It's not like the time that things are very difficult, when we are finding it difficult in terms of there is scarcity of fuel or whatever. Now the country, we the transporters, we are very happy, because anywhere you travel, every state have fuel. It's only some places the difference of price.
They don't start from Sunday. That was the day yesterday. They're not coming to Abuja now.
According to several FCT residents, the federal government should take the enforcement of post-holiday work resumption more seriously. Ensure timely resumption, they argued, is crucial for boosting national productivity and discipline in the workplace. Noel Sampson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
An articulated tanker carrying premium motor spirit PMS exploded on Tuesday afternoon around the Muslim area of Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. The explosion occurred after the driver reportedly lost control of the vehicle, causing it to veer off the road and overturn. Unfortunately, no lives were lost in the incident. Emergency responders from the Oyo State Fire Service arrived promptly at the scene and successfully contained the fire, preventing it from spreading to nearby residential buildings. Authorities are investigating the cause of the crash and urge motorists to exercise caution, especially while transporting flammable materials. Still in Oyo, the state government has confirmed that no lives were lost following the recent tremor and rock movement at Iyamopo Hill in Egbeti, Olorunshogu local government area. In a statement signed by the Commissioner for Information, Dotun Oyelade, on Tuesday, the government allied affairs of the incident, attributing it to disruption to natural geological processes. He assured residents that there was no cause for alarm, stating clearly that no casualties have been recorded in the incident. To address the situation, the government has dispatched experts from the Oyo State Solid Minerals Development Agency, led by its Director General, Biodun Oni, to carry out on-site evaluations. Additionally, the state is collaborating with geologists from the University of Ibadan to analyze the geological activities and propose long-term solution. As a precautionary measure, residents living near the affected area have been advised to temporarily evacuate pending the outcome of ongoing assessment and mitigation efforts. You're still watching News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up after the break. Delta community shuts oil farm over years of neglect. This and more when we return. Do stay. Welcome back, and in case you're just joining, this is News Hour on Trust TV. Here's a recap of our top stories again. We told you that Peter Obi pushes for political reset, charges Nigerians to vote responsive leaders in 2027, plus 96 houses razed in fresh attack on Mangu local government area of Plateau State. Now to more stories. The chairman of the FCT wing of the Nigerian Union of Teachers, Abdullahi Mohammed Shafaz, has said that junior secondary school JSS in the FCT may likely not have new intakes if the ongoing primary school teacher strike lingers. Shafaz, who disclosed this in Abuja, said it was unfortunate that primary 6 pupils were likely not to be admitted into JSS 1 next year due to what he called refusal by the 6th area council chairman to pay primary school teachers their demands. He said the council chairmen have continued to pay deaf ears to the demands of the teachers, saying 3 different agreements were reached with the council chairman but were all reneged. Shafaz said the union has a lot of pending demands that the council chairmen were yet to pay, saying the federal government's new minimum wage was paid to both teachers of junior and senior secondary schools, civil servants and other government agencies, but was not paid to the primary school teachers. He said next year's session in the FCT may likely not have junior secondary students, except only children from private schools, which he said may affect those who cannot afford private schools. Now, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Wike, has renamed the Abuja International Conference Center as the Bola Ahmed Tinubu International Conference Center. The minister also disclosed that other halls in the facility have been renamed after Vice President Kashim Shettima, Senate President Godswill Akpabio, House of Representatives Speaker Tajuddin Abbas, and Chief Justice of Nigeria Kekere Ekun. Wike stated this during the inauguration of the ICC in Abuja on Tuesday. Habibat Ajayi has more.
The inauguration of the International Conference Center marks the beginning of the commissioning of projects by the FCT minister to mark the second year in office of the President Tinubu. Minister Wike ascribed the completion of the conference center, which has rehabilitated at the cost of 39 billion naira, to the leadership of President Tinubu.
We have to remember those who have also supported FCT. National Assembly is one such arm of government. So we have named one hall, Jibijin Tabas Hall. We have named Godswill Akpabio Hall. And your vice president, we have named one of these halls to your vice president. And then the CJN. We have also named one of the halls against the name of the CJN. At least let the 3 arms of government work together. So I just said that since it is the property under you and the building is under you, let these people have small names in those roles. But let them know that it is under Bola Amed Tinubu International Conference.
Senate President Godswill Akpabio commended the FCT administration for naming us at the center after the President of the Senate, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, and the Chief Justice of Nigeria. He lauded the collaborative spirit between the executive, legislature, and the judiciary under President Tinubu's leadership.
I don't know which contractor handled this, but I can imagine it must be the usual Jollof Beja. I'm just guessing, because I saw their quality when I entered. Mr. President, the renovation, the rehabilitation, and the transformation that we are witnessing in ICC is what we are bringing to this country, whether people like it or not.
President Tinubu commended the FCT Minister Wike for completing the renovation within 1 year of the center's closure.
Don't pay attention to the busybody and the bystanders. Whatever they say, continue with your good work. You are a transformational leader. You have the foresight, the vision, and determination to succeed.
With the conference center inaugurated, more projects are expected to follow suit in the days ahead. Habibat Ajayi, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now in Kano, as the Salah holiday continues in some states, Nigerians are using the occasion to celebrate in diverse ways. In Kano, where Salah is more than just a holiday, residents are keeping the spirit alive, blending tradition and joy, even amid economic challenges. This year, more than ever, people are striving to strike a balance between work and celebration. The report.
Kano's parks are still buzzing with activity, filled with people from all walks of life, showing the city's vibrant Salah spirit. As the celebrations gather momentum, they show no signs of slowing down. Although official work resumes this Tuesday, the government-declared school break is only halfway through, giving children nearly a full week of continued holiday. Many residents are seizing the opportunity to unwind, connect with loved ones, and soak in the festive atmosphere. Each year I plan it this way. I take leave from work to coincide with Salah so I can spend quality time with my family. People are buying more souvenirs this year because the crowd is larger than last year. However, despite the festivities, some popular spots are witnessing a decline in foot traffic compared to previous years, largely due to the rising transportation costs and economic strain. The high cost of living has affected us just like everyone else. I take photographs, but many clients want discounts because of the current economic situation. They want to pay the last year's rates, but that is not possible. Still, business activity in Kano pushes on. Across the city, many continue to walk through the holiday, whether by providing essential services or running shops that would typically close during Salah.
To aida maka san more especially mu yan kasuwa duk lokacin da aka ce da kai lokacin sallah yayi maka dauki short.
Yes, it's the usual practice, especially for us shop owners, to take a short break during Salah. However, due to current situation, many people came out than before. For us, since the first day of Salah, we've been combining work with visiting loved ones. But after 3 days, we opened fully to face our business. Whether relaxing at the park or juggling duties with celebration, Nigerians are embracing the season in their own unique ways, each a testament to resilience and hope. Abdulaziz Ibrahim, Trust TV News, Kano.
The Ogun State Governor, Dapo Abiodun, has described the Oji Oba Festival as a powerful symbol of communal harmony where religion, tradition and morality coexist peacefully under a shared identity. Speaking at this year's Oji Oba Festival held in Ijebu-Ode, Governor Abiodun reaffirmed his administration's commitment to promoting cultural heritage not only for the benefit of the Ijebu people, but also for the enrichment of humanity at large. The report.
Held annually 3 days after Eid al-Kabir, the Oji Oba Festival offers a vibrant celebration of Ijebu culture. Dressed in dazzling traditional attire, the people of Ijebuland gather to pay homage to the Abuja, the paramount ruler of Ijebuland, Oba Sikiru Kaode Adetono. The Abuja was represented this year by his wife, Olori Kemi Adetono. The festival is a living testament to the rich cultural legacy of the Ijebu people.
Kabiyesi, your reign has not only preserved the timeless dignity of Ijebu throne, but has also ushered a renaissance of cultural expression that has elevated the global standing of Ijebuland.
The 2025 edition of the iconic Oji Oba Festival once again brought the ancient city of Ijebu to life with a spectacular display of culture, tradition, and royalty, and was even celebrated by Governor Abiodun as a vital economic asset.
These are strategic pledge to harness collective strength in delivering transformative governance through targeted investments in infrastructure, healthcare, education, youth empowerment, and tourism. We are building a state that honors its past while boldly embracing the promise of tomorrow.
Later in the day, the Ogun State government and the Federal Ministry of Arts, Culture, Tourism and Creative Economy signed a memorandum of understanding for the implementation of the Renewed Hope cultural and creative projects across the state.
We not only want to be defined as the education capital of Nigeria, which we are, we now want to be seen through the prism of being the center of attraction for tourists. We want to use culture as a platform to project our state even further.
So the federal government is offering this handshake, this partnership, this collaboration in this renewed hope cultural and creative project that is in the vision and the mission of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, so that we can continue as a nation to change the narrative about Nigeria.
The Minister of Art, Culture and Tourism and Creative Economy described Ogun State as a region blessed with rich cultural heritage and stunning landscapes, an invaluable asset to the nation.
An oil-producing community in Delta State, Ogbeni in Utagba Ogbe Kingdom of Udokwa West Local Government area, has staged a protest against an oil company operating in the area. The protest was sparked by allegations of neglect and marginalization despite years of oil exploration in the community. Residents said that the demonstration was long overdue, accusing the company of taking the community for granted. The report.
Dissatisfied with years of neglect, the people of Ogbani community in Utagbegbe Kingdom, Ndokwa West Local Government area of Delta State, took to the streets to protest against an oil company operating within their territory. The protesters accused the company of excluding them from employment opportunities and development initiatives, claiming the firm's actions has subjected the community to a life of anger, hunger, and frustration. From early morning, residents, both young and old, stormed the company premises at about 9 a.m., barricading all entry and exit points to halt operations. Chanting solidarity songs and holding placards, the protesters demanded that the federal government and Delta State government intervene. They urged authorities to compel the oil firm to honor the Nigeria Local Content Act by hiring qualified professionals from the community and fulfilling its corporate social responsibility obligations. The chairman of the Community Development Committee of Ogbani, Daniel Oba Ogu, who led the protest, to journalists that the community has suffered prolonged neglect and exclusion by the company.
They refuse to implement the PIA put in place by the federal government of Nigeria so that they can know the matrix of what they are doing and what is agreeable to the community. Our prayers is that the government should look critically into these matters and compel the company to do the needful.
Other community leaders echoed this sentiment, saying the peaceful demonstration aimed to draw the attention of the oil company and relevant government bodies to their suffering.
People are peace-loving people, but if we push someone to the wall, it has no other alternative than to react. Otabugbe community have never felt the impact of selling in Otabugbe.
We are deprived of many things on our own land. They deprived our children from getting jobs. We have a lot of graduates in our land. They deprived our husband from getting jobs. They deprive us of so many things. There's no light. They are not giving us any money, no allowance. Things are so bad. They've taken away the land from us. We are appealing to federal government as a whole to come into this matter.
And I want to also assure them that on behalf of the Senator Nedwoko, the chairman Senate Committee, Adult Committee on Oil and Gas Theft, that this your petition, which you have personally given to me again, will get to him.
To further investigate the claims, journalists visited the palace of the Odosa of Otagbogbe Kingdom, His Royal Majesty Isaac Obi, following traditional protocols.
I don't know about the company because they have never visited me. I only hear that Sterling Global is operating in the Otagbogbe Kingdom. That's all.
The community reiterated that the provisions of the Local Content Act had been completely disregarded by the company. Jonathan Anwanyai, Trust TV News, Asaba.
A climate activist is calling for urgent action to address the growing problem of plastic pollution in Rivers State. The appeal was made during a sensitization campaign held in commemoration of this year's World Environment Day. The report.
The Executive Director of Quest for Growth and Development Foundation, Smith Nwokosha, while addressing the student of Community Secondary School, Rumudumaya, emphasized the harmful effect of plastic waste in Port Harcourt. He urged students to embrace proper waste disposal practices and support the global theme, Beat Plastic Pollution.
The theme for this year is ending plastic pollution, and we have a hashtag called Beat Plastic Pollution. We know how plastic is so popular in our environment. The water we drink, the can, our mineral, everything we do is plastic, even some of our plates, and we litter this in all around. Because of the whole plastic pollution all over the world, it's something that is becoming terrible and affecting our health, environment, and all that. So that's why we are advocating for this year that we should, by all means, end plastic pollution. And we are also calling on multinationals and policymakers, government, young people, student community members, community leaders, everybody, church, religious leaders, and all the likes, to ensure that they also add hand to end plastic pollution.
After the school visit, the campaign continued at Rumudaya Market, where traders were encouraged to reduce their use of cellophane and other single-use plastics. Market women expressed gratitude upon receiving solar lamps and pledge to contribute to cleaner, healthier environment. Students also committed to raising awareness among peers about responsible waste management and pledge to stop burning of plastics.
I happen to be a partaker of a beneficiary of one of these solar lights. I feel very, very, very honored, and I'm happy about what is going on today, because if the organization did not put this together, we wouldn't have been able to hold this that I'm holding today. So I want to say a big thank you to the organization.
I so much appreciate it. I clap because of the clap. I clapped and they gave me this, and I truly needed it. So I appreciate and I say thank you.
I have learned that we can manage our plastic waste, and I've also learned that it's good to keep our environment clean. And I've also learned that we should reduce burning waste products, and then we should recycle them in the factories that buy them.
I noticed when they wrote Wike on English Day, they were here till around 9 o'clock. So if this light were to be here, it will actually help a lot. So and with this light now, you can come into this compound at any time and see everywhere bright.
This call to action comes as Nigeria joins the rest of the world in advocating for a greener, plastic-free future.
The federal government has reaffirmed its commitment to rebuilding the nation's economy through diversification into the creative economy. The Minister of Art, Culture, Tourism and Creative Economy, Hannatu Musa Musawa disclosed this during a visit to former President Olusegun Obasanjo in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, on Monday. Speaking to newsmen on the sideline of the visit, Musawa stated that the diversification plan aims to empower Nigerians' youth in culture, tourism and creativity to give the country an edge globally. The minister, who took a tour of the Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library, Museum and Library, lauded the efforts of the former president in building capacity for the youth, stressing that the initiative is part of President Tinubu's plan to leverage the creative industry for economic growth, job creation and national unity. During her visit, Musawa expressed admiration for Obasanjo's library and museum, noting that it inspired her to improve the framework for the creative economy.
We're trying to build on this landscape, our history, trying to tap and leverage on what was and what is and where we can be. And what I've been able to learn from the history that I've been able to amass here, and of course the culture, the capacity building, the template that has been put here. Of course, we're creating an Abuja creative city and doing different creative cities all across the country and in different states. The Renewed Hope Cultural and Creative Project has already come. We have signed a number of MOUs with some states. We're here in Ogun, and yesterday we signed the MOU between the federal government and the Ogun State, because the president, wants to reach the grassroots. He wants us to do a handshake with the federal government and the states, so that whatever we lay in place, it is something that will be long-term and sustainable.
Borno State Governor Babagana Umara Zulum, along with prominent businessman Muhammad Indimi, have expressed a condolence to the government and people of Adamawa State following the passing of Professor Jibrin Aminu during their condolence visit to Governor Ahmed Umar Fintri at the government house in Yola. Both Zulum and Indimi referred to the late Professor Aminu as one of their own from Borno State. They emphasized that his contributions to the development and advancement of education in Borno State and Nigeria as a whole are invaluable. In response, Governor Umar Fintri thanked the delegation for their visit, describing the loss of Professor Jibrin Aminu as a significant tragedy, not just for Adamawa but for the entire nation. Professor Aminu, an esteemed scholar and politician, passed away on Thursday, June 5th, 2025 at the age of 85 following a brief illness.
We saw Alaji Jibrin Aminu, Adamawa State. The Oscar we believe is one of us. His contributions to broader development of education in Borno State and indeed in Nigeria need not go by the facts. It is not deemed it necessary to come and commit to Hamid Salim, the people of Adamawa State.
Right, and in the morning, and in their visit and their prayer, it is our wish that Allah will grant him a Jannah Firdaus. And we urge us to keep this relationship among us, the Northeast, which has strengthened and kept us alive to solve most of our issues and problems together. So I want to assure you that we are in prayers with you, and we will continue to ensure that the Northeast works together and grow together.
You're still watching News Hour on Trust TV. We'll return shortly. Welcome back. And now in business. The federal government's first quarter 2025 savings following the removal of petrol subsidies increased by more than 500% compared to previous periods, according to data released by the National Orientation Agency, NOA. The agency, in its newly released report titled 2 Years Later, Key Benefits of Subsidy Removal, noted that the subsidy removal has led to a significant increase in government revenue as the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited (NNPCL) began transferring savings from the Federation's Account Allocation Committee (FAAC). The savings from the declaration that stopped the subsidy-freed vast resources, boosting government revenue from 154 billion to 836 billion in first quarter. As a result, state saw FAAC allocations jump to 15.26 trillion in 2024, allowing salary payment and 1.85 trillion debt reduction. Foreign reserves also grew to $38.9 billion despite forex obligations. According to the report, the savings also funded major investments such as 20 trillion infrastructure fund, NEL-fund student loans of 54 billion, agriculture at 1.5 trillion, solid minerals at 1 trillion, and CNG transport conversion to lower cost, adding that capital expenditure now exceeds current spending. Still in business, the World Bank on Tuesday slashed its 2025 global growth forecast, citing trade tensions and resulting policy uncertainty as U.S. President Donald Trump's wide-ranging tariff-strained ties and weighed on economic outlooks. The bank lowered its projection for global GDP growth to 2.3% in its latest economic prospects report, down from 2.7% expected in January, the latest in a series of downgrades by international organizations. By 2027, the World Bank expected global GDP growth to average 2.5% in the 2020s, which would be the lowest rate in any decade since the 1960s. The gloomier projection come as Trump imposed a 10% tariff on imports from almost all U.S. trading partners in April, and higher rates on dozens of these economies, which he has since suspended until early July. While the World Bank's growth downgrade was proportionately larger for advanced economies, the bank cautioned that less wealthy countries have tricky conditions to contend with. Now away from Nigeria, with the civil war in Sudan in its third year, the humanitarian situation is worsening, with more than 25 million people experiencing acute food insecurity. As refugees continue to flood into neighboring Chad, the UN Special Representative for Central Africa, Abdul Abare, has raised the alarm over the deepening crisis. It estimates that some 1.2 million Sudanese have found shelter in the eastern part of Chad, mostly after fleeing intensifying violence in their country. Speaking at the UN Security Council, Abare said that under the UN system, Chad was trying to provide additional emergency humanitarian assistance and stabilization programs at several locations. He also warned that tensions between the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda was a major security threat in Central Africa that could spill over into a regional crisis. Now let's join Kabir Lawan for more news on sports.
Nigeria's national women's cricket team, the female Yellow Greens, will look to keep their semi-final hope alive this Tuesday as they face Malawi in their penultimate group stage match of the 2025 Kibuka Women's 20I tournament in Rwanda. With just 2 matches remaining in the round-robin phase, Nigeria currently sits 5th on the standings with 6 points from 6 games, 3 wins and 3 losses. They are tied on point with Zimbabwe and Tanzania, but trail both sides on net run made. The tournament began on challenging note for Nigeria, who suffered back-to-back defeats against Zimbabwe and Brazil, They rebounded with a win over Tanzania, but stumbled again against host Rwanda. The female Yellow-Greens have since gained momentum with consecutive victories over Cameroon and Sierra Leone. Despite the recent upturn in form, Nigeria remains outside the top 4 due to an inferior net run rate of 0.224 compared to Zimbabwe 0.678 and Tanzania 2.220. Still on sport news, despite Chelsea under-20 semi-final exit, Nigerian wonder kid Ogbonna has grabbed the spotlight with 9 goals and 5 assists. In a tournament packed with elite youth talent from across Europe, Nigerian-born youngster Ogbonna proved a class apart, earning the prestigious Best Player award at the just concluded Ocean Football Tournament in Italy. Representing Chelsea's under-12 side, Kobe dazzled throughout the competition, racking up an impressive 9 goals and 5 assists. His consistent brilliance helped power the Blues into the semi-finals, where they eventually bowed out to Inter Milan under 12. The 12-year-old forward's standout performances didn't go unnoticed, as scouts, fans, and organizers hailed his technical prowess, creativity, and eye for goal. While the tournament title eluded Chelsea, Kobe's impact remained undeniable, sparking excitement about his future for both club and country. With roots in Nigeria, his rising profile also had the growing list of diaspora talents, making waves on the international stage. That's Sport News. I am Kabir Lawal.
And with that, we have come to the end of News Hour on Trust TV. Do not forget to watch us across all our social media platforms for more news, programs, and documentaries. I am Fatima Ahmed Musa. Good night.